Hello, everybody, and welcome back again to the Planet Film Network. Welcome back to another episode of PFNLive. I am one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell, and today we're going to be talking about a bunch of different topics. We got YAHYA ABDUL-MATEEN being cast as Wonder Man in the MCU. We got some Tales of the Jedi reviews that we want to hit up, episodes 1 through 6. I think that's actually the entire series that came out a few days ago. So we want to talk about that, and as well as stuff we've been watching, I think as well. I think that's it, right? Is am I missing something from the title?
No, I mean, it's been, since we're missing the back half of our show because there is no longer a House of the Dragon to watch. Pour one out for the homie. It's going. Sorry, we're gonna be doing a little bit more on box office. Also, there is a lot of kind of scattered news this week. A lot of big casting news, mainly, and then also a little more talk about kind of the state of things over at DC with Henry Cavill coming back in and James Gunn entering kind of the fold. But yeah, so first and foremost, what have you been watching? Or what have you been doing? What have you been up to? How's Nova?
Nova's good. She's been better these past couple days. Me and Danielle we felt Friday night we fell asleep both in the living room. So she kind of just fell asleep on the couch with us. I'm usually put her in her crate. And she was really good. No accents or anything like that. And then Saturday night I fell asleep on the couch as well. And after Danielle went to bed. And she again slept on the couch, no problems. And then last night we weren't sure if there was going to be an issue because we had slept the previous 2 nights with her out of the crate, so we weren't sure if she's gonna, because she's been getting better. She's been crying a little bit for a good 15-20 minutes, and then she kind of goes to sleep. Last night there was no peep, nothing. And it was the first time that's happened. It was really nice to see. Just some some progression, because we were a little nervous that we might have, set ourselves back a week because, she was alone. The only issue really with her, honestly, has just been she's teething. So she's biting. She tries to bite a lot of things, including people. So that's good. But last night we sat out with her and handed out candy, and she was perfect. She was good when the kids came up. And then when they left, she would go crazy, which was like, okay, we think it might have been because she's scared of them. So she was like, I'm going to be nice. But yeah, she's good. I actually found out last night after some research that we have, or I guess but it comes out of my bank account. We've been paying for National Grid for the apartment for the past 2 months. We haven't been living there. So I have to file a dispute and hopefully get my money back. So that sucks. Maybe that's on me for not paying attention. Granted, fair.
Yeah.
But we called and they just never. We called when we initially moved out and they just never took it off our account.
Wow.
So I've been paying that for the past 2 months. So that kind of sucks. So other than that, that's what I've been up to. As far as watching movies, did I watch 24th? When was that? Was that October 24th?
I think that was the last
Monday.
show.
Okay, I went over that. Yeah. So since then, I watched Beetlejuice for the first time. Never seen it before.
Oh, really?
Yes. Not the movie. I didn't know what it was, and that's not the movie I thought it was. I thought Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, I thought they were alive the entire time. Turns out they died in the first 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
And they're actually ghosts trying to get these other people that started living in this house out of their house. And Beetlejuice is like a exterminator type thing, which I just thought was really interesting. I thought it was a very interesting idea. And
How'd
it was
you
a lot
like
of fun.
How'd it come together?
I liked it. I loved it. I thought it was great. He had 4.5 stars. I was pleasantly surprised.
4.5, damn. Yeah, I agree. That's a great movie. Yeah, I mean, I almost watched it because on the Google TV last night, for some reason, it was always, anytime I would turn it on or go to the homepage, it was always either Hocus Pocus 2 which we'll talk about a little bit later, or Beetlejuice. And so, like, one of the times it landed on Beetlejuice on the home screen, I was half tempted to click it because I think it was on something I had too. Like, oh yeah, I think it's on HBO Max.
It's on HBO, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I almost ended up watching that yesterday too. But instead, well, did you have anything else you watched? Sorry.
Yeah, I also watched. I watched Halloween Town. Me and Danielle watched Halloween Town over the weekend.
Is that a first time watch or no?
No, I've seen Halloween Town before. I'll tell you what, that movie, it never seems like it gets out of the first act. Like, the first act is like 50 minutes, and then the rest of the movie is like 20.
I agree with that, like 100%. I think that is a very good way of putting it.
Like, when they go into the movie theater, we're like 50 minutes in.
Yeah.
And it's like only an hour 20.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, it's almost over. Okay.
Yeah. It wraps up pretty quick.
Yeah. But, you know, it's still good fun. Good nostalgia hit for those kids that watch DComs.
Oh, hang on. Got no mic. Yeah. I thought he dropped out for, I thought I lost it for a second, but he's just getting that back up, and then he should be getting, now what happened here? Oh, there we go. I just can't see. Oh, I see. I just clipped out. This is a little behind the scenes for you guys. I just clipped out TJ's thoughts on Beetlejuice, which luckily we got before his mic cut out. Oh, no, he's fine. What? He's not coming through on Discord. Now he's gone. Oh, maybe it just caught up with it. Let me make sure this is still on. Huh.
Hello?
There we go.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was talking, then I looked and I saw you say you couldn't. I heard you say you couldn't hear me, but then I wasn't green anymore, like my little box. So then I got really confused. Okay. Halloween Town, 30 for 30. 2 Bills, Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, 2 coaches of the NFL, as well as Fantastic Lies, which was about I think it was 2016, the Duke lacrosse team. They had a party, and they invited these 2 strippers to perform for them, and then the one stripper came out and said that she was sexually assaulted. Oh, shit. And then it's this whole thing about how the evidence didn't really add up, and the DA was kind of trying to force the evidence to make sense to support his oncoming campaign that he was starting to run for, and how that all happened. Also very good. But yes, that is what I've watched. I didn't get to Barbarian. I wanted to watch it. I still haven't watched it. It's on HBO. Have you watched it?
Well, we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about Barbarian what have I been watching?
Yeah. Okay. All right. But yeah, that's it for me.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. So I guess I'll just start with yesterday. So I had Halloween off. It was kind of a up and down, last minute thing of like, maybe if I saw somebody was doing something, I'd go out and do something, or I was maybe just going to get candy to hand out. I ended up just staying home making tacos. But me and my roommate were trying to figure out what to watch, or I should say more, I was trying to figure out what to watch. So I put on Barbarian. We got about like 4 minutes into it, and I was just like, I think either just mentally tired or just mentally wasn't with it, and I was like, I cannot watch this right now because I really want to like absorb it and actually like know what's going on and watch it. So I didn't finish Barbarian. I didn't end up watching that. And then I watched It, the first one,
Fun.
Didn't make it through the second one though. Fell asleep before that because I had work at 8 this morning because we had a field trip, which was amazing to have 300 kids in a IMAX auditorium. But yeah, so I watched it last night. Let's see what else. Oh, I also started and watched the first episode. I'm not going to review it right now because I'll probably do its own video. Maybe I'll split it up on different ones. I'm still thinking about it, but I started Cabinet of Curiosities, the Guillermo del Toro Netflix. I guess you would call it either a show or an anthology series or anthology specials because they're all kind of listed under their own thing. And they all have these beautiful posters on the Netflix socials. You can find them. Like each one of the specials has these like amazing, like almost theatrical looking posters that they made for each one, which are really, really cool. I watched the I don't even know if I started in order, but the one I watched last night was the Tim Blake Nelson one, which was pretty crazy. It was pretty awesome. And then since then,
I saw a clip of that on TikTok. Actually, now that I think about it, it was a little too creepy for me.
Oh yeah, yeah, fair enough. Since then, I haven't really been watching a lot of movies because I have been watching a little bit more TV again. But I did watch Wanted the other day. I also rewatched Black Adam for a second time.
Oh, okay,
and then the other day I watched The Nice Guys, which I'd seen before.
Good movie.
Yeah, 100%. Still holds up. So fantastic. Love that movie every time I see it. I will say with the second rewatch of Black Adam, I think I still really enjoy that movie. I think that movie is exactly what it should be. And the reason I gave it a 3.5, I think, 3.5, and then why I stay at a 3.5 and everything is because not only is it exactly what it should be, but when it has choices to do kind of like the basic thing or the thing that like you'd expect it to do, it does take opportunities to do different things. Like I won't even spoil it. I mean, I know it's Black Adam and it's been out for like almost 2 weeks, but the thing that happens at the end with the throne, I thought that like kind of twist, it would have been very easy for them to just the big epic shot just end it there or have something happen, like that.
Well, if the movie would have ended like that, it would have made absolutely no sense. They would have like completely negated everything.
No, exactly. Yeah, and so that just the sheer fact of that they didn't and did that kind of twist on it, I think makes me look forward to the future of this character even more because unfortunately I would expect a DC movie to end like that. Because previous DC movies have done that, where they set up characters in one direction and then they end in some place that's completely different, or there's no setup at all and then some big twist happens at the end with them, and not like a twist, just a thing that makes no sense, basically. So I'm glad that this movie avoided that. But that's pretty much all I've been watching.
You said,
and then
Kid was still annoying, correct? Didn't
yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. The kid is definitely the worst part. He's not like terrible, but he can't. He really cannot carry a lot of the dialogue and stuff that they want him to. But still want to go see. Still want to get caught up and see Smile, Barbarian. There's a lot of great horror movies and movies in general out already from October, and now November already is going to be a great movie month as it is. We got Fablemans, we got Bones and All, bunch of stuff coming out this month. The Menu, Armageddon Time, Wakanda Forever, obviously. Did we cover Wakanda Forever like early reactions last week, or did it not happen yet?
No, we didn't. I think it was afterwards.
Okay, we could talk about that too. I just realized. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff coming up still. It's been a great year. It's been a great year for everything, really. August and a little bit of July was not too great for new movies coming out, but there was still some great TV on at that time to kind of distract us from it. So yeah, let's go over and look at the box office. So looking at the box office, the top 5 for this past weekend, there's a lot of interesting stuff to look at here. So again, the first 2 spots on the list remain unchanged, and that is Black Adam at number 1, Ticket to Paradise at number 2. Black Adam bringing in higher than expected on its drop. It's bringing in $27.4 million. Ticket to Paradise, $9.8 million. A lot of people were on Sunday and Saturday projecting Black Adam to land closer to like the $25 million range. So it picked up almost an additional almost $3 million on top of that. So that's definitely good. And also 2 weeks at number 1 is not a bad thing for, not a bad feather in the cap for a struggling Warner Brothers right now. Right. Especially after, all that stuff of Warner Brothers can only release 2 movies this year, which one didn't pan out for various reasons. At least one is starting to. Then we have Pray for the Devil, which is a new, again, horror movie with $7.1 million at number 3. Smile staying in the top 5 for the 5th week in a row, coming in at number 4 at $5.4 million. And then Halloween Ends coming in at number 5 at just $4 million. So looking at this, and then also TJ's looking at the full top 10, what kind of stands out to you here? Is anything surprising or pretty much what you thought? What do you think?
Something that is not surprising to me, but I think is kind of cool is seeing, and I'm not I've never seen Terrifier 1.
Yeah.
And I've seen Terrifier 2 all over my TikTok page. Like, I've never watched either of those movies. But I think that's really cool that the first one came out a while ago. And for it to get a sequel, and it's doing, pretty well in the theater. I think the budget was pretty small.
Yeah, the budget was about $100,000.
Yeah, so to be grossing, $7 million worldwide, that's awesome to see. And it actually did get me interested to watch them. Because it seems like they're not necessarily scary. They're more like kind of gross. Like they're way like over the top gory, I guess. From what I can gather. But I am kind of interested now in watching them and see I don't know how good they are. I've heard this one's pretty good. I don't know about the first one, but that is cool to see. If you can go back to the other page. What else? Black Adam doesn't really surprise me. Ticket to Paradise, I feel like people really like that movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I've heard, that it's a good movie. Smile also, that's the other one that is really killing it that I'm interested to see. I've seen the ending on TikTok, so it's kind of like, I'm still interested to watch it. I'm assuming it's going to come to Paramount Plus at some point. And Halloween Ends does not deserve $60 million total gross. It should be less than that.
Corey doesn't deserve that?
No, it does not.
Dang.
No, he does not.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. For sure. I'm excited to see on the top 10 at least Tar sneaking in there at number 10 with 1 million. Not a bad haul for a very, very small Cate Blanchett movie that I know I'm pretty excited to see. Huh?
Did you get either Tar or Banshees of
they're doing some freaky stuff. They're doing some freaky stuff right now with us, which is we're getting like everything. So we have Till, we have Terrifier, we have Tar, we have Triangle of Sadness. This week we are getting the Banshees of Inisherin.
Got it.
Yeah, I think we also got The Bad Guys back, which is in a limited re-release right now. And Armageddon Time comes out this weekend, as well as a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, no, we have a lot of good offerings right now. Triangle of Sadness, I really want to see. That one is, I believe it was originally a French film, or some European market actually produced it.
I remember watching the trailer for this.
Yeah, but it does have Woody Harrelson in it, as well as a couple different people. But other than that, it's mostly just either European or stars from kind of the international box office world. It's very interesting to see. It won the Palme d'Or award. Oh my gosh, it's really hard to say. At Cannes earlier this year. So it's apparently supposed to be pretty good. And based on that poster, there seems to be some sort of commentary on either rich or indulgent people. So yeah, I'm excited to see that one. But it is also cool seeing, with just 600 screens, that it's bringing in like $500,000. Just seeing some of these smaller movies that I feel like, I don't know if I'm just like hallucinating, or I feel like some of these movies just weren't coming out to mainstream movie theaters like pre-pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like something like Tar or Terrifier, we'd have to go to like a screening room or like something like that, or maybe the drive-in would get something like that. You know what I mean? But now, like, it's just crazy. Yeah, exactly. North Park or something like that. Now, like, we're gonna be playing Tar for like a few weeks. Like, that's crazy to me. I feel like that stuff didn't normally happen with movies of that size pre-pandemic. But I guess we'll see if that trend kind of continues or not. But not too many surprises with the weekend box office. But one thing I did want to throw in, kind of an addendum to the box office, and I want to see if I have the numbers pulled up here, is Hocus Pocus 2, which I don't, unfortunately. But let me see if I could find it. So Hocus Pocus 2, being a streaming movie, got its numbers reported by, there we go. Got its numbers reported by the Nielsen ratings, which has recently started doing both series and specials and movies on streaming services that report to it. And Hocus Pocus 2 actually, since its release, has been the biggest first week ever for a movie registered in the Nielsen ratings, with over 2.7 billion minutes watched. So if you divide that, let's see here, because that is like an astronomical number. If you divide that by the runtime, which is 96 minutes, that means that potentially 30 million Disney Plus accounts tuned in to watch that movie in its first week. Over 30 million accounts. That's pretty crazy. So would that have translated into box office numbers? That's maybe a different discussion, but what do you think? Did you watch? Oh yeah, you did watch Hocus Pocus 2. I still have not checked it out. I feel like it's one of those things that I'm subconsciously staying away from, just because like I really just don't want it to tarnish the original. But I'll probably watch it eventually because I really don't care that much. But what do you think? Do you think that this was a wise move to just keep it Disney Plus only? Or, do you kind of think Disney missed the boat on maybe doing a theatrical release for this?
That's a good question, because I don't know. I think if you put it out in theaters, like, I think it would make, like, something decent at least, just because I know a lot of people have the nostalgia or love the first movie. Not including me, because I don't. I watched it for the first time a few weeks ago and didn't really love it that much. So I think maybe they could have. Maybe you did like a week before it goes to Disney Plus, you just put it out in theaters, because why not? Not saying though that it would made that much money, but again, you leave it on Disney Plus as like an exclusive. You're driving more people to that
platform,
service. So I'd be interested to see if they can get the numbers for the amount of new accounts that were made in order to watch this movie. Because to have that many minutes watched, you'd have to imagine that there's some new people in there. It's not just already people who have accounts. But yeah, I think it was fine to leave it on Disney Plus, personally.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, and it actually just got a new trailer today, but I'm interested to see how that Disenchanted does.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I feel like it's not a similar level of nostalgia, but it is that kind of legacy sequel fantasy type. I feel like there's a lot of crossover fans in those two
Mm.
movies. So I'll be interested to see how Disenchanted does, because if they see movies like Hocus Pocus 2 or Disenchanted doing these crazy numbers for Disney Plus, as good as it is for Disney Plus,
Mm-hmm.
if you had 30 million people buying a movie ticket, then that's another story. You know, like it's one thing to have a great success for Disney Plus. It's another thing to get some, cold hard cash from people seeing it in theaters. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. And also Hocus Pocus 2, not that it's less famous, but like Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker are not as big of names as somebody, like Patrick Dempsey or James Marsden or, Amy Adams in Disenchanted. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it'll be interesting to kind of see, and then maybe we'll see and compare how those two movies have done with the reports. And I'll be interested to know if we ever do find out, how many accounts were created for that, because you got to figure it's got to be pretty high. But let's go ahead and continue on here. Do you want to talk about the main topic here, or do you want to do some Tales of the Jedi talk?
Let's just do main topic first.
All right, perfect. So, main topic of the show, as if you guys couldn't tell by the thumbnail and the title, is Black Manta himself, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, also known as Dr. Manhattan as well, is in talks to star as Wonder Man in Marvel Studios' Wonder Man series for Disney Plus. So we previously got word that Daniel Destin Cretton, who of course directed Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, would be working on the Wonder Man series. So, and also that it would have Ben Kingsley in a co-lead style role as Trevor Slattery. So, what are your thoughts on this? What does this change for your level of anticipation for the series, this character? And what do you think about Yahya Abdul-Mateen II kind of, hopping from two DC characters over to the Marvel Universe?
Yeah. Well, first, I think it's a great casting. Yahya is like an incredible actor. I feel like I haven't seen him in a ton. I've seen him in Watchmen. Obviously, he's really good in that. Was he? No, he wasn't in Invisible Man. That was Aldous Hodge, right?
Yeah, that was Aldous Hodge. Yeah.
He wasn't something else, but I can't that I've seen. But
Did
I
you
can't
watch?
think of
Well,
it.
Aquaman.
I've never seen Aquaman.
Still, wow.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Did you watch Ambulance? He was just in
No.
Ambulance this year.
No, that one didn't really. Oh, Trial of Chicago 7?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I think that's it. He was in Baywatch. Don't remember him in that, but that was a bad
He was
movie.
in
So
Baywatch?
he was in Greatest Showman as well. Don't remember that as him in that either. But Watchmen and he was in Us. I don't remember that either. He was in Matrix too. Matrix Resurrections.
Of course.
And he was in Candyman, which I haven't seen
Yeah.
that, but Trial of Chicago 7, very good in that. Watchmen, very good in that. And Matrix, he was, good Morpheus as well.
Yeah.
I think it's great casting. I don't know much about Wonder Man. The only thing I know is that he is together with Wanda at some point. And it actually got me thinking, like, do we get a conflict maybe between Vision and Wonder Man competing for Wanda at some point? And I know some people are thinking that maybe they're starting the West Coast Avengers. I believe he's a part of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would be cool. Maybe the series leads into that as well with, which I don't know if we'll talk about it a little later, but Vision getting his own show on Disney Plus as well. I think it's called Vision Quest. So, what does that look like? But I thought this was a great choice. And again, I can't go off Aquaman, so I don't know how good he was as Black Manta. But I'm excited for this. I'm glad it's I'm glad it's a series. I do like the introduction of new characters with TV shows, because I just think it gives us a much longer like road before we get to the movie, that we can get to know them better, because the movie you kind of have to condense it all into like a 2-hour thing.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think they're really gonna, over the next few years, which is like crazy how much of an institution Marvel is, but over the next few years they're gonna workshop some different things with their $1 million franchises, and I think they're really gonna settle into this formula of, they're gonna say, this is the story we want to tell. What suits it best? A movie, a special, or a 6-episode show? I think that's what the conversation is at that studio going forward, and I think that's perfect, because I agree with you 100%. I think that a Wonder Man movie, if they released it now, would be like an Ant-Man, like the first Ant-Man movie. Not Quantumania, because that is now a hugely important, yada yada, we could talk that movie to death, but the first Ant-Man movie is a fun heist introducing this character in a fun way. Paul Rudd, he's this super charismatic, big name actor type of thing. I feel like if you make a Wonder Man movie, you're going to get that out of it. You're going to be like, oh, I love Scott Lang. Oh, I love Simon Williams. But you're right. With the series, you really can, whether it's going to be 6 or 9 or 10 or whatever, you really can get to know the character, not just going, oh, I love Simon Williams. Yeah, Wonder Man's so, great and entertaining. Now you can be like, I really understand him as a person, as a character. And like you said, he does have a very complicated history with a lot of people already established in the MCU. So character building wise, he does have a lot of ground to catch up, because I agree with you. I think, and we will talk about the Vision story probably next. But so when I throw it back to you, feel free to segue however you would like, sir. I think, you could see Wonder Man pop up in Vision Quest, depending on which one is getting going first. I'm assuming this Wonder Man show is going to be coming much sooner than the Vision Quest show, because that one was just announced as an idea. Yeah. This one, we've known they've been working on Wonder Man for like 6 months at this point. It's just now officially cast. But I think it's going to be great, because I think once we see him interacting with Wanda, with Vision, with, maybe talking about Tony Stark, or talking about, how the Avengers influenced his life, or anything like that, we're going to empathize with him and like him a lot more as a hero and as a human. But yeah, and then just the casting itself, like you said, absolutely fantastic. I love, too, that they went with somebody like Yahya, because to me, he is just that, like, kind of effortlessly, like, charismatic, like, before, and I won't spoil it here, but before his switch in Watchmen, which I just realized I think I spoiled earlier, but before his original character in Watchmen, his more human persona, he was just like this chill, cool dad, and I feel like everything I see him in, he can bring that energy to it. So I'm excited to see what he does with this, with somebody who's straddling the life of being a superhero and being an actor, and kind of how he'll exist within the MCU. I think will be interesting to see.
Great.
When do you think we're gonna get this show?
Probably in the next, I want to say, like year and a half, maybe. Maybe stick it in there somewhere. I don't know. I don't have the whole slate off the top of my head for Disney Plus shows. But obviously we have Loki season 2 coming. We have Secret Invasion, which is this year. This month, right? Secret Invasion?
No, Secret Invasion is going to be like January, February.
Oh,
sorry.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have those 2 shows, and what else do we have?
Guardians is this month.
That's way down there, but
I don't know though. I didn't pull it up. In my in the tweets here, but Agatha is actually heating up with casting, and Catherine Hahn at an event for Glass Onion this past week said that they start filming this month. So I don't know. I think Agatha might be
maybe that'd be
pretty quick. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I bet Agatha's going to be next Halloween. They're going to start filming it in November. They'll have a full year to do it. I bet they'll probably do it for it'll probably launch like September 30th or something.
So maybe check that. Maybe 2 years. Maybe a year and a half, 2 years. We'll go with that. But one show I was going to segue. One show that will be becoming afterwards is Vision Quest, which originally was broken by Jeff Snyder on the Hot Mic podcast with John Roca. That I think last week they were assembling, and I think when it was announced last week, this week they were assembling a writer's room to start writing, the story and everything. And so Vision Quest, I'm reading this off Discussing Film, will follow the Vision trying to regain his memory and humanity. Jack Schaefer will oversee the series, and then there's also a possibility for Elizabeth Olsen to appear as Wanda, and that was coming from Deadline. So what do you think of this, Sean? Are you excited for this? Are you excited to get more Vision? And do you have any idea of how this series will unfold? And anything you can think of?
Well,
obviously,
I'll say
we're very early stages of the show, so
yeah, like we just talked about, and if you're just joining us, subscribe. And also, we just talked about the Wonder Man news, which is much further along. So, like you said, this is really just like boom, we're building the writers' room. Like it's kind of the reverse because obviously you know the cast of this already. You just got to break the story. So I'm excited that Jack Schaefer is going to be overseeing the series. Now, where it says oversee the series, I'm going to assume that probably means not show running it, because they would have just said Jack Schaefer will serve as showrunner or something like that. So I'm going to guess that Jack Schaefer's probably going to maybe find the showrunner, break the story with them, because Jack Schaefer, of course, wrote and was the showrunner on all of WandaVision. So very excited that they are on there. The show in general, I mean, if you watch this channel long enough, you know we love Vision. Paul Bettany is fantastic. I think that WandaVision was, incredible. I don't think anybody loves it more than TJ does. But I am very excited for this. And in terms of how it could shake out, I think a lot of it hinges on two things, which are probably Wonder Man and Armor Wars, because one of the earliest rumors about Armor Wars was that Vision would be in it, that Vision would appear in it. So this to me makes sense, because this is just me putting things together that I'm assuming and everything, but I want to know your thoughts on it, and everybody watching right now, I want to know your thoughts on it too. You can't go, White Vision is introduced, flies off, and then he lands in Vision Quest, and then he's regular Vision by the end. You gotta have Vision be White Vision for a minute. You know what I mean? He's gotta kind of live in that. Like Bucky, between Winter Soldier and Civil War, he had to kind of be off, they had to have the Age of Ultron line of, how's our missing persons case go? Oh, we're still, figuring it out. You have to kind of show this in between, because if Bucky is a crazy villain and then this whole movie hinges on him being a good guy, it kind of gets lost in translation. So I think we'll see White Vision in Armor Wars and probably in Wonder Man, and then I think Vision Quest will then be him, kind of, maybe he'll hear about his the MCU brain just did the mega meme. I was like, yeah, Armor Wars makes sense because, he was built by Tony Stark, and that's going to deal with Tony Stark's tech. Also, there happens to be another connection between Vision and Rhodey, which is that Vision paralyzed that man for life. I completely forgot about that. So that is a little cherry on top of making sense for him to be in Armor Wars. And maybe Rhodey says, I can just picture in my mind, the fan fiction or the the writing of it already of Rhodey being like, or Vision being like, well, why are we still friends if I did this to you? And Rhodey being like, because you're a good guy, or so, because you're the best of us or something. And then Vision's going to be like, oh, maybe I am the best of them. So I think that Wonder Man and Armor Wars could be inciting incidents to make Vision go on this Vision quest. Because I don't think it's going to be a Hayward's back with sword and they're going on a Vision quest to get Vision back. I think this is Vision quest in the sense of like him seeking out his self. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be a very active series of him trying to figure out, himself. And I think that you could see Elizabeth Olsen in this, maybe flashbacks, maybe he has some sort of a, not AI, but like virtual reality or like simulation thing with her, kind of like how she did in WandaVision. And then also there's that aspect of it that this would just be kind of the companion piece to WandaVision. Which I think, could be really cool. So those are kind of some of my thoughts on it. But what do you think about that? Do you think could you see him popping up in Armor Wars, or do you think the next time we see Paul Bettany will be in this Vision Quest show?
Yeah, no, I think you made some really good connections there with those two other shows that are obviously coming before this. And I think that'd be great to kind of, put him in these different spots just here and there really quickly. He doesn't have to stay that long, maybe an episode, maybe a few minutes per episode, whatever. Leading up to this, and does the, again, bring up West Coast Avengers? Does the show lead into that whole thing? Assuming Wonder Man again is going to come before this. Does he show up there? Does he show up in any other movies leading up to this as well? So I think personally you had a lot of really good ideas, and I'm hoping maybe some of those ideas we see. But yeah, I think this will be more of like a him kind of finding himself. I think I saw Shelly in the chat. She said, I'd rather see Vision Quest deal with just Vision, and then at the end he goes to look for Wanda in a movie. I would agree with that. Maybe not. I don't know if I need a Vision movie, like a Vision solo looking for that whole thing. But I would say I probably as much as I love the relationship, as much as I loved WandaVision, and their dynamic, Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, I think it would be cool to see a solo Vision thing, kind of trying to find himself again, and then maybe at the end going to look for Wanda. I think you could do the same thing with Wanda as well. I don't know if that remains to be announced or rumored or anything, but I think you could probably do the same thing as well in her own show. I guess WandaVision kind of was that, her dealing with her grief and everything.
Yeah, that's why, like what I said about this being a perfect companion piece to WandaVision, I just feel like that show, and I have no problems with this because I love the amount of Vision that's in this. I just feel like kind of like House of the Dragon. The two main characters are Allison and Rhaenyra, but really, if you had to say, Rhaenyra is who the show leans towards. You know what I mean?
Yes. Correct.
WandaVision is Wanda and Vision show, but I feel like the show generally bent more towards Wanda. So I think it is cool that he's kind of getting his own project. And then we also got to remember that we have that rumored Scarlet Witch solo film or solo project. So I think that she could be getting her own thing. But I personally think if we do get Elizabeth Olsen in this, I think it will be some sort of a flashback. I think we might even see, because we saw that great scene in WandaVision, the whole Ship of Theseus thing, where he, taps the memories back into him and you see like, oh. So I think maybe that'll be a part of the series, is going back to his memories, maybe specifically of Wanda, because that's his kind of deepest connection. But also, like you said earlier about Wonder Man, if maybe Vision refines himself, but then maybe it's something that, he's been so defined by Wanda, maybe he needs to know his life without Wanda, and then maybe that opens the door for Wanda and Wonder Man to kind of have a relationship. I just love that we're kind of at this point in the MCU where they are kind of not being beholden to the comics, because they're never that, but they are honoring things that happen to these characters in the comics like I never thought they would. You know what I mean? Like, now looking back, it's like, oh, okay, just like in the comics, something happens to Vision, he loses his humanity and he turns white. That's exactly what happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think. I remember in Age of Ultron, people being like, they're doing Vision? They're going to put Vision in these movies? Like, that's crazy. Yeah. Now you look at Vision and you're like, yeah, he's just a red guy. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, he's just literally a guy that wears sweaters, but he's red. You know, like, it just seems so mundane now. So I'm excited that a character that's been around literally since the beginning, the very first movie in Iron Man, is still having all of these iterations so much later in the timeline. But yeah, do you have anything else you want to touch on for Vision Quest before we move on?
No, that's it. We can go. We can keep going.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, well, something that was a little fun was people were talking about Keke Palmer should play Rogue, so she took it to heart for Halloween and dressed up as Rogue and did a full photo shoot and different videos of herself as the character, which you guys are seeing there. I just thought that was...
I could see it.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously she was doing way more of a specific comic book version. But if that one looks great, imagine how, you know, it actually would look great. All right, so let's... oh, that's what I wanted to say. I don't think he does. Does Kevin Feige... What do you think the answer is? Does Kevin Feige, yes or no, have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
I'm going to go with no. Not yet.
He does not. He has honored several people.
Boom.
Because what I was saying was, you can guarantee that when Paul Bettany gets his, Kevin Feige will be there, and when Kevin Feige gets his, Paul Bettany will be there, because Kevin Feige has done more for that man's bank account than any other human in the world. And I don't say that as a diss to either one of them. It's just true. Just that story of him thinking his career's over and then getting the Vision call is just like so crazy. But I'll let you know. Do you want to go with this first, or do you want to talk a little Kathy Kennedy, Bob Chapek, Mama Drama?
Let's talk about this, because I think this will probably just be a really quick discussion. So Kelly Marcel, sorry, who wrote, or was it co-wrote or wrote?
I believe the first one was co-wrote, and then the second one was written. Yeah.
Venom, and then Venom Let There Be Carnage. She will be directing Venom 3, and this is off discussing film via Deadline. This is interesting.
That's one word for it.
You know, I don't think you can't blame her for the first two movies. I think we'd agree that both movies are not great. There's a lot of other things that go into a movie that make it not good. But, you know, in my opinion, you know, for both of them, I think the story wasn't that great for either. But I'm interested to see what she comes up with for the third one, assuming she's writing and directing it. On IMDb, it says
I would
screenplay,
assume,
story by, written by. So this should be interesting. You know, we're gonna have Toxin as a villain, which I don't understand how you go from Carnage to Toxin. It seems like it'd be Toxin to Carnage. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on everything right now is, obviously, I feel like Venom. I like the two Venom movies. I feel like more than most people. Slightly more than most people. I'm not like, you know, not like, oh my god, these are cinema. In terms of Kelly Marcel directing it, I think Andy Serkis is probably on to bigger and better things. So that makes sense why he didn't come back, because a lot of people were thinking maybe he would come back. Who, of course, he directed Let There Be Carnage, which I thought was directed very, very well. Like you said, there's a lot of other things that can bring a movie down. And honestly, with the first two, I don't think direction or writing are what did. I think it was just kind of the overall direction of what they were doing. But I think it's interesting, but I just not really that excited for a Venom 3. Coming out of Venom Let There Be Carnage, I really was, because it's like, oh my god, is Venom 3 going to be in the MCU? Whatever. Now knowing that they're doing this kind of split up Venom storyline where now there is Venom in the MCU, but now Eddie Brock has been pushed back to his reality. I'm just not. I was excited for the post-credit because I was like, wow, they're really going to take this character in a totally different direction. Totally wild stuff is going to happen. Now that it's just going to be another Venom movie set within that contained Morbius universe, I'm just like, I'm almost a little bit why. Which is really upsetting because, again, I like Eddie Brock. I like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock. And as Venom, I think that, he's fantastic. And I was really excited for the potential of him meeting Tom Holland's Spider-Man, which isn't off the table, but it just seems very, very unlikely at this point. Because I think, for all contract disputes aside, I don't really think there's ever going to come a day where Tom Holland is removed from the MCU. I really think that's off the table from ever happening. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's where I fall. I guess if you're gonna make a Venom 3, pick somebody who worked on the first two movies. That's Agreed. What I have to say about that. I don't know. Maybe they should have done a Creed and just had Tom Hardy direct it. Or maybe Tom Hardy's just like, yeah, no, I'm good. But all right, that is our Venom 3 talk. I know you guys have been looking forward to that one. Do you want to talk a little Tales of the Jedi, or do you just want to finish up the news and then end off with Tales of the Jedi?
Let's do one more news. I don't know if you want to pick one, and then we'll do Tales of the Jedi, and then we can.
Okay, let's kind of end with this general area. Let's with this. So let's go on this one. So I want to be clear because this is, I believe,
a series.
Not. Yeah, that's what I want to. That's what I want to figure out. I wish that.
I saw some different tweets earlier today, and then I saw everybody basically agree that it was a series and not a movie.
Okay. So I'll throw it to you after I read what it actually is, and then I'll read this quick.
Oh, no, that says film. That's
why I want to.
Okay, so maybe it is a movie.
Yeah, so I want to read up on that. But either way, the news is that fresh off the presses of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Lupita Nyong'o and also Star Wars has found her new franchise, which is she is going to be the lead in A Quiet Place: Day One. So I'm going to look up right here to clarify, because there's a lot of Quiet Place projects in the works right now at Paramount. There's Quiet Place 3 with Emily Blunt. There is the Quiet Place one that I believe is going to be set in France or somewhere in Europe, I believe. And then there's this Day One project. So there's a lot of Quiet Place going on at Paramount right now. So I want to clarify which one. But Lupita Nyong'o being cast in A Quiet Place at Day One, you'd assume this is going to be kind of a Fear the Walking Dead type thing, where we're going to go back to the very start of this thing and, kind of go with her on this journey. But what are your thoughts on her move to this franchise, and kind of your thoughts on, this franchise landing somebody like Lupita Nyong'o?
Yeah, I think it's a great move. Really interested to see what they come up with. I think obviously Lupita Nyong'o is an amazing actor. And I'm excited to see what the story is. Obviously, it's when the aliens. I'm first come to Earth, and how that kind of transpires. But yeah, this should be really interesting. And Quiet Place 1 and 2 were, I think we all agree, great movies. I can't remember which one I think I liked I want to say I liked the first one more, but I know it was kind of like up in the air with a lot of people. Like some people like the second one a little bit more,
I gotta rewatch both of those. Those are so good.
Same. So like I said, very interesting to see. I am interested to see though how the show or movie or how the franchise goes without John Krasinski, because I don't think he's really going to be involved in any way.
I do have info on that, but keep going.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I'm interested to see what kind of story they come up with. But yeah, I think this is great. This is an A+ for me, easy.
Yeah, I think this is definitely an A+ for me too. The casting front of it. But to break down some more info, so currently right now, 3 Quiet Place projects are in various states of production.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I don't know
so the Quiet Place European thing, that kind of adventure, that is what's rumored to be the Paramount Plus show. So they're thinking that would be basically like kind of, again, keeping the Walking Dead analogy going, kind of like a Tales of the Walking Dead, which just started, which is basically just an anthology thing set in the Walking Dead universe. So that could be cool. Maybe a different week, you're with a different family or a different set of people kind of dealing with this thing. I think that could be an interesting idea. But then, so for set to release in March of 2025 is A Quiet Place 3, starring Emily Blunt, starring Cillian Murphy, and then the kids coming back as well. And then this one would be the spin-off, A Quiet Place Day 1, which would be set to release March 8th, 2024. And then as far as Krasinski did actually write the idea of this movie.
Okay.
So this is directly from him. It's an idea that he wrote. There's no word yet whether he actually is going to be brought on as a writer for the project, but him, Michael Bay, Platinum Dunes, will be producing it just like they produced the first 2 movies. So yes, this is definitely a movie, and yes, Krasinski will be involved, at least from a storytelling perspective. And then the article from Deadline also goes on to say basically that they're, of course, hoping to kind of pivot all of this energy into Krasinski kind of helming a Conjuring level, A Quiet Place universe within Paramount. And I think that's a very good example. I think that A Quiet Place could be like this Conjuring type universe where you kind of have this main hub of, this main family, but then you do go off and see like your Annabelle creation, The Nun, Curse of La Llorona, to varying degrees of success, granted. But I think that's a really good analogy for it. And I think that we've talked about a lot on this show how much, since really the pandemic, how much Paramount has been able to kind of scramble their troops in order and has really been on the come up from a studio who was really, knocking on death's door pre-pandemic. But between just a few of their properties, they've really turned things around, namely Sonic and Top Gun. But
isn't it crazy isn't it just weird, crazy to think like what the MCU and DC, even I'll give them credit, have created as far as universes go. Like you said, we have the Conjuring universe. We will, assuming, be getting a Quiet Place universe. I'm sure there's probably other ones I'm forgetting. But just asking, thinking, 20 years ago, people would be like, "What are you talking about?"
The Wizarding World.
The Wizarding World. Well, okay, obviously the Wizarding World, but
name the Wizarding World
scale. But yes, correct. Like with Fantastic Beasts, and obviously we have that. But to the scale. Like MCU,
not just a franchise, but interconnected franchises.
Right.
That that you could have Shazam. You could have 5 Shazam movies, but then Shazam also takes place in the same universe as the Aquaman trilogy. That stuff is like truly kind of pioneered with Marvel. A little bit, you could say, with Star Trek, maybe on TV in the 90s with like Deep Space Nine and Next Generation and stuff. But yeah, like you said, to this scale and this level, I mean, it's just stuff that you would never even think possible.
Yeah, Star Wars.
True, but even that, the expansiveness of Star Wars was way post MCU.
Yeah. I mean, you had the books, like you had those Legends books, but they weren't canon.
That is true.
They weren't, right? Most of them weren't canon, correct?
Yeah, and again, like you said, on this scale, you're talking theatrical and streaming. You know what I mean? Even Star Wars, and I love Star Wars. We're going to talk about Star Wars. Specifically, we're going to talk about Star Wars animation. But even Star Wars, you know, it's kind of a split between all these different things. And honestly, I would actually love a Quiet Place like video game one day, or like novels set within it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you could definitely do that. I think there is a lot of room for storytelling, you know, kind of in this universe. I think it's really ripe for it. But yeah, I think everything about that, absolutely incredible idea, incredible prospect. Let's see here. All right, the last news that we will talk about here before we get into a little bit of Tales of the Jedi is we have some new cast announced for Severance Season 2. So, of course, Severance, huge hit show from earlier this year, is going to be adding Gwendolyn Christie, Robbie Benson, John Noble, as Merritt Weaver, as well as a whole bunch of different people are all going to be added on. I believe John Noble and Gwendolyn Christie are added on as series regulars, so they will be in majority of the show, at least in Season 2 going forward, which is pretty exciting. We also have David Leitch's next film, who, of course, worked on the Deadpool movies, the John Wick movies, and then most recently Bullet Train. His next movie, The Fall Guy, which, actually is set to go 1 week before A Quiet Place Day 1 in March of 2024, is building out its cast, who is going to be Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, and now Stephanie Sue from Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to be joining that movie. So very excited for that movie. What are your kind of thoughts on that? Did you watch Severance? I can't remember.
Severance, no. I'm interested, but it's nothing like pressing for me. But no, yeah, I've not watched it.
And then
those are castings.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts on The Fall Guy? No word yet whether this will be a Fall Guys movie.
Yeah. Fall Guy, I have no interested. I wouldn't say I'm a big David Leitch person. I was interested in Bullet Train. I haven't seen it yet. Hopefully this is better than what people said the Gray Man was.
So Shelley says The Fall Guy was a TV show. There you go. With Lee Majors.
Adventures of a Film Stuntman who... What was that?
Yep, and that sounds like the pitch. So yeah, it sounds like it will be a remake.
Oh, okay.
Or reboot of this. Yeah. Wow, that actually is interesting. The Adventures of a Film Stuntman who moonlights as a bounty hunter when movie work is slow. Wow. That's a pretty interesting premise for the 80s. That sounds really fun. Like, it could be really fun. And I think you'll end up liking Bullet Train. I think you will. I think if you're just ready to accept it's just a fun, ride, I think you'll really enjoy it. And then last bit of casting here is Kristen Milotti, of course, from How I Met Your Mother, Palm Springs, a bunch of other stuff. Has been cast in a lead role of the Penguin series for HBO Max as Sophia Falcone. Obviously, now that would be the daughter of Carmine Falcone, played by John Turturro. What are your thoughts on this? Penguin seems to be heating up under this whole new Warner Brothers deal.
Honest. Thought they started production. I thought they started production already.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty new to Kristen Milioti. I never watched How I Met Your Mother. The really only thing I had ever seen her in was Palm Springs. She was awesome in that. So this is great casting. Great casting.
Yeah, I think she's really somebody who, also the Black Mirror episode, USS Callister, she was in. She was in that? yeah, in both that and Palm Springs, I think she does have a lot of room to kind of get pretty dramatic. So I think that she has shown a really good range that I think is going to work perfectly with this, that she could kind of exist as that heightened Gotham, type personality, but also she can, bring the dramatic scenes and play off of somebody like Colin Farrell pretty well, I think. So I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, I think that's interesting that it's going to be Falcone's daughter, especially given, there was that whole potential storyline with Catwoman being his daughter and stuff. So I wonder if that stuff will play into it, or if, or even when this show is going to be set. If it's going to be, maybe it's set way before the Batman, or maybe it's set after.
I gotta
what
watch
do you
that
think?
movie again.
The Batman?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna guess it'll probably be. Maybe it'll probably be before. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
Maybe
show maybe
chronicling,
like his kind
rise.
of. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, do you think the Batman qualifies as a Halloween movie? It does take place on Halloween.
No.
And it is based on Batman: The Long Halloween. But
Yeah, but is it really that big of a like?
Is it maybe not spooky enough?
No, I don't think it's really like. I feel like they don't lean into it that much, do they? Am I misremembering?
That's true. No, yeah, that's true. I feel like they don't lean into it.
Yeah.
I would still qualify it because I feel like just being set on it is enough to qualify it. But also, I don't know. That's just an interesting question somebody asked me earlier today. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
What do you guys think? What do you think? Do you think Batman qualifies to be a Halloween movie? I guess, time will tell on that. But speaking of time will tell the tales of the Jedi. So if you guys are watching this, we're going to clip this out in its own separate video. So we are about to discuss episodes 1 through 6 of Tales of the Jedi. So I have actually put up my quick reviews. I did a review on the 3 Ahsoka episodes and a review on the 3 Dooku episodes. And also, shout out to anybody that's watching. Shout out to anybody that's subscribed. We are on the path to 500 subscribers. And the fact that our reviews are consistently, after time, doing, 20, 30, 50, stuff like that on the reviews is really awesome of you guys, because we used to post reviews and they would just be 0 or 1 or 2 views and just dead. So I've been really trying to get our output of reviews up on the channel so that we aren't just kind of on the crutch of trailer reactions, but our trailer reactions have also been doing good as well. So thank you guys so much for that. I just wanted to quickly put that out there, but you can go and check out just my initial thoughts. I recorded them literally after I watched the episodes, on the Dooku and Ahsoka stuff. But before we get back into what I thought on them, where did this series land for you, TJ? Did you enjoy it as much as you thought you did? Did you enjoy it more? Were you kind of anticipating it? Is it what you thought it was going to be? I want to know your thoughts. And also, guys in the live chat right now, let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good series. I thought it'd start off pretty slow and poor with the first episode. It was just kind of boring. Wasn't all that interested in that Ahsoka story.
Yeah.
But I will say I thought it picked up with the second, third, and fourth episode. Fourth one being probably my favorite, I'd say. I probably fourth episode and the sixth episode being my favorite episodes. That was great to see a Dooku story that I don't know if it had been told in any books or anything. I could be wrong. But that was really interesting to see. And how we kind of time jumped through, I'd say probably all 3 movies, correct? All 3 prequels, maybe just 1 and 3.
No, for Dooku, or do you mean just for
one?
Dooku or for all of them?
Yeah, just
Sorry.
for Dooku.
For Dooku, it was actually the third. So I don't know why they did this with the order.
I guess
Episode
it's probably all
4.
one.
No, episode 4 takes place during the Phantom Menace, but then episode 2, his first episode, takes place about 30 years before the Phantom Menace. And then episode 3 takes place about 10 years before the Phantom Menace.
I was getting them mixed up with the Ahsoka episodes.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what is he talking about? But then I remembered the Ahsoka episodes go all through episode 3 and then into, Bad Batch territory.
So I thought that was all great. And I thought I was really happy to see that Ahsoka story in episode 6. I thought that was really interesting. And the amount of are we doing spoilers? Like,
yeah, I think we can do spoilers real quick.
With what ease that Inquisitor was chopped down, I thought was really cool.
Yeah, and then he deflated. I don't know what that was about.
But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting for Star Wars Visions. I watched the first episode and then the next one didn't really get me, and I just kind of trailed off after that.
Yeah.
But I will say I thought this was a very good showing from Star Wars Animation, and excited to see what other stories they can tell.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. So like I talked about in my 2 other reviews, kind of, I think I kept those non-spoiler. Yeah, those are definitely non-spoiler. So I'd be happy to get into my spoiler thoughts here. I definitely would say on the whole, I think that not even closely. I did like episode 6, but I think not even closely. 1, 2, and 3 spots for me are the 3 Dooku ones. I think that episode 4, the Sith Lord, is easily the best episode. Yeah, easily the best episode out of them. I just rewatched the Sith Lord again right before we went live today. And I think it's just fantastic. I literally think it's some of the best 15 minutes of Star Wars we've ever gotten, period. I know I sent you on Snapchat just this, and we're in full spoilers now. So, well, I should say this. If anybody's watching, it is full spoilers for Tales of the Jedi, but if you've watched Star Wars, I was about to say something about Qui-Gon's death, and I was like, that's not a spoiler really, but when the episode 6 starts, and it's just the pan down to the Force tree at the Jedi Temple that we've seen in many times before in the Clone Wars and everything. We even see that vision that Yoda has of kind of what could have been, where Dooku is still a Jedi and stuff, and they're all gathered around that tree. But just the music in this, with Kevin Kiner's score again off of Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Rebels, all of his animation work, the score in this is just eerie. It was eerie and sad and worrying, especially in that opening scene when Dooku is just standing there by himself, and Yaddle comes up to him and he says, I used to bring Qui-Gon here when he was a boy, and you could just, for the first time, and I have always loved Dooku as a character, I know we both have, one of my favorites, not technically a novel, but one of my favorite Star Wars canon things is Dooku Jedi Lost. I think that's easily one of the top 5 stories, written stories, I should say, that they've come out with in the new canon. And these episodes, somebody like you or somebody who's only seen Dooku from the movies, not even let alone seen him in Clone Wars, I think that these episodes gave me new stuff to appreciate about Dooku, and I've read Dooku Jedi Lost or listened to it twice. I love anything I can get my hands on with Dooku. Back when I was a kid, 10 years old, in the library, literally the public library, one of my favorite books of all time was this book called Legacy of the Jedi, and on the front, it had Yoda with a young Dooku under him. It had Dooku with a young Qui-Gon under him, Qui-Gon with young Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan with young Anakin under him. And that was one of my favorite books because it talked about that lineage of that Force lineage going from Dooku down to Ahsoka. And even though I didn't like the Ahsoka episodes as much as I liked the Dooku ones, absolutely phenomenal choice to, like the famous George quote, it's like poetry, it rhymes. I thought that the rhyming of starting with Dooku, who's kind of the great-great-grandfather of Ahsoka in the Force lineage, and then Ahsoka showing two Jedi that kind of lost their way, left the Jedi Order. One found their way again, came back to the light, and you see in episode 6 that she tries to turn away from the light. Bail Organa, reminds her of, just because this fight has ended, just because the Clone Wars are over and we have lost, does not mean that the fighting stops. And I loved seeing that because, again, Bail Organa is another one of my really favorite. I got all my favorite characters in this. Kanan showed up. Bail Organa showed up. It was fantastic. But there was just so much stuff. Even like I said in the episodes that I didn't care for as much, which were the Ahsoka ones, there was still so much there. And kind of the two sides of the same coin almost with Dooku and Ahsoka. I thought was really touching and just written so well. And again, to quote Christian Harloff, who harps on this all the time, why Kevin Kiner is not scoring live action Star Wars shows absolutely baffles me. And that's not to say I don't know which one he would score, because I think that Ludwig has been doing great work. I think that Natalie Holt did great work on Kenobi, and I think that I guess maybe Kenobi. I guess Kevin Kiner probably would have been good in that. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed all 6 of them, but the Dooku ones a little bit more so. But what do you think? Let's focus on the Ahsoka ones a little bit here. What were some of your favorite moments from the Ahsoka episodes? And can you name me one positive thing you liked about the first episode? Life and Death, it was called.
From the Ahsoka episodes. Well, I did enjoy I did like the whole story of her kind of seeing her hiding out, and she kind of going by this alias now. I forget what her alias name is. Ashla, yeah, whatever. But it was really cool to see her like really powerful.
Yeah.
And you don't really get it. Like, you don't get it that it's not hitting you in the face, I guess. It's just like she just grabs his lightsaber and then just basically chops him down.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And it's like, it just shows kind of her strength. And I really liked how the 5th episode led into the end of season 7 of Clone Wars.
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
Kind of going into that big room with all those troopers. I thought that was really cool, and she kind of does the whole callback to earlier in the episode. She's like, let's see if this training pays off, I thought that was really cool. From the first episode, honestly, I just can't give you anything just because it was so forgettable for me.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the big tiger thing. I guess it was cool that, it kind of takes her away, but it doesn't, it's kind of, there's almost this like barrier around her, I guess, that it understands that it shouldn't kill her, I guess, or attack her.
Yeah.
But that's about it. That's all I got for you on the first episode.
No, yeah, that's fair. But I definitely do agree with you with just seeing her power, like, as badass. And obviously there are some things that I don't think were handled perfectly in 6. Like, I know you don't know this, but the book Ahsoka by E.K. Johnston, this
right, yeah. I
this
heard
really
that's messed with canon a little bit.
Yeah, this really is, to me, and I think a lot of people, the biggest retcon / canon, not canon break, because nothing really breaks canon, because it's all, mythology type of thing. You could just say, well, this is the quick version, the book is what actually happens, type of thing, because it's an adaptation. But like, the brother character in this episode in the book was actually a LGBTQ character who was a girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the book. So people are kind of up in arms about that kind of erasure of just a character, you know, from that community being represented.
Right.
But
yeah,
also, I'm of two minds on it, because I do think that it is just, okay, we are going to take what happened in the Ahsoka novel, and we have 11 minutes to tell it. So I do understand in the sense of, like, how do you properly represent all that stuff? And I do think that it's a challenge that probably could have been addressed a little more tactfully. I'm not saying that you know, they did it as best as they could. I think that there definitely were things that could have been handled better. But also, like I said, this is really an adaptation of that novel that is just, if somebody wants to know, you know, what happened with this bit of Ahsoka's life, you know, it really quickly, here's the Tales of the Jedi version of what happened with her and the Inquisitor. And then there's even more in the book that obviously the book can't not be canon, because this, even if it did retcon fully things, it only retcons a portion of the book. So, you know, that's really the way that I look at it. But I think that if you do have complaints about that, it's totally valid. But like you said, with her power, I've seen people, you know, complaining about, how did she just, like, trounce that Inquisitor like that? Girl was jumping hundreds of feet on Mandalore, holding off Maul with a force pull on his ship, and holding off an entire clone battalion with just the Force, as the Super Star Destroyer was crashing to the planet's surface. Like, and also not to mention, granted it's like 20 years later, but also holds her own again against Vader, 4 Inquisitors, and Maul all on the same night. You know, does she survive? Questionable time mechanics, but you know, either way, Ahsoka is very powerful, and this episode was hey, if you were doubting her power at all, don't. Because, you know, and then I think that also then leads into practice makes perfect. Some of the best positives of that is it really goes to show you, you know, that old Rey complaint of, like, oh, she doesn't have any training. It's like, you know, not that anybody complained about that with Ahsoka, really, but it just goes to show you her master was Anakin. He is going to push her to her absolute limits of power and ability and all this stuff. And I think that it just showed that great. Like, I wanted more from the Ahsoka episodes. But I think what we did get, and I will be with you on this, I think with the exception of the first episode, because I think the first episode really was just, I don't know if it's out of place or weak or whatever you want to call it. I just think the first episode just doesn't play as well as the other 5. It also doesn't have any really familiar characters that we can connect to, which also, you know, could be part of it. But yeah, I think even the stuff I didn't like about the Ahsoka episodes, I think still there was some great kind of Star Wars stuff to be mined from them. And for somebody who isn't as familiar with Ahsoka, I think you show them those 3 episodes and they're going to have a much better understanding of who she is as a character and what she's all about. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit just because I feel like we haven't really shined on them as much as the other 4. Let's start with Justice. So this is Dooku's first episode with him and young Qui-Gon Jinn, voiced by Liam Neeson's son, which is cool. I do think he sounds a little off, but maybe a younger version, because also, you know, Qui-Gon is supposed to be like 50 when he dies, and this is supposed to be like a, you know, 18, 19-year-old Qui-Gon, so you obviously can't get Liam Neeson to do it. Although wonderful again seeing Liam Neeson and Ian McDiarmid in episode 5 or episode 4 was fantastic. That was great. It just broke my heart. I was like, I wish they could do these scenes with Christopher Lee. You know what I mean? Like, it'd just be so cool, because, you know, I don't think Liam never got to actually work with Christopher Lee on those movies, so it's like I always like to know like, does Liam Neeson know that, oh, in Star Wars, Ewan McGregor was my Padawan, but, Christopher Lee was my guy. Like, does he know that? Like, that's so cool. I love Dooku and Qui-Gon's relationship. But anyways,
Yeah.
speaking of Dooku and Qui-Gon's relationship, Senator doing real bad things to his people, starving them and everything. Dooku's not having it. He is not having it one bit. And then Qui-Gon has to step in and be the level-headed of the two. But what were kind of your thoughts on Episode 2, Justice?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I liked that idea of them going to kind of save this child of the senator who apparently didn't know they were going. And it was more kind of seems like it was more an idea just to see how this why it happened almost.
Yeah.
And when Dooku sees that, he gets it. And then you see kind of his mind work and how it's like, we're being told to rescue this boy and check up on him and everything, but like there's a reason that he was kidnapped. What other choice? I forget if he says it or somebody else. I think the kid actually says it.
Yeah.
Says,
what other choice do they have? That was great.
To get the detention, and I think that's a really good idea, and something that you see across these 3 episodes is Dooku like questioning the council and how the council just kind of blindly, and they say he's the 3rd episode of Dooku, where he's like, oh, like how does the council just blindly serve the Senate when, they should be asking questions. They shouldn't be just doing what they're told. There's some line about law in there too that I thought was a really good line.
I don't know if it's the one you're talking about, but I love when the senator says, arrest these men, and he says, you serve the Senate, and he says, we don't serve the Senate, we serve the people of this republic.
When
like
he
that,
said the people
like,
too, I immediately, when he was about to say that, I go, he's gonna say the people.
Yeah.
And that's what he said. But yeah, I thought that was a fantastic like kind of intro. And something I just hadn't really seen before, really, I feel like, and maybe it's in books or maybe it wasn't a book that I did listen to and I just don't remember, but his kind of just seeing those little inklings of defiance of the council and then seeing the questions he's asking, which I think were really important questions.
Yeah, 100%. I think then leading, I'd say, I really like this episode as well. Definitely, I think probably my second favorite of the Dooku episodes. Just his relationship and the interactions with him and Qui-Gon, and also, like you said, these 3 episodes really show, the downfall of Dooku, really beautifully and really, really well. Especially when you consider that it does it in 28 minutes. Like it's pretty insane how limited screen time. I think that's the one thing I could say for Tales of the Jedi is like how they conveyed this much dense story in really a full runtime of like less than 70 minutes, almost basically just an hour for all 6 episodes. I thought was fantastic. This one as well. Some of the things like you said, we don't serve the Senate, we serve the people of this republic, I thought was fantastic. Seeing him, force choke him, because really this is the first steps of, okay, it's not just that the council isn't doing enough. It's, I need to do things my own way, oh gosh, like I'm going to tap into this darker power because this guy, to serve the greater good right now, I'm going to kill this guy. But Qui-Gon is wise enough to know to serve the greater good right now, we need to have peace. We can't just kill this guy and be like, there, problem fixed. Because now you're going to have a power vacuum. The people are still going to suffer. There's going to be unknown leadership, all this stuff. And then you have that great line where he says to him, Qui-Gon, you're a wiser man than I am, Qui-Gon Jinn. Which was fantastic. And then leading us into episode 3, Choices. This is the one with him and Mace Windu, where just right off the bat, I loved this. Probably number 3 for me in terms of the episodes. Still absolutely love this episode. But I think the best line in this whole thing is definitely when he says, Master Windu, your devotion to the teachings of the council is both inspiring and maddening. I was like, that is like the perfect, to sum up Mace Windu in a nutshell. Like, that is the perfect way to do it. But what did you think of this episode?
It's like one of those things where it's like, I admire you that you are so, you're so gung-ho for everything the council does. You want to be a part of it. You want to do what's best for the Republic and everything you believe. But at the end of the day, it's okay to think for yourself once in a while. And you don't seem to do that. I thought that was great, like you said. I liked it, but I could have done without the whole kind of senator getting killed. Like, I don't know, that story didn't really like work for me. I was really into the fact when they got there and Dooku's like, wait a minute, if the shots came from here, like, where are the shots on the ship? Like, how come?
Yeah, they're like investigating.
I did like that, but like getting there, I was kind of like, whatever. But yeah, like you said, that was, I think, one of the best lines for me of that episode, or maybe of this whole kind of arc. And I feel like every episode had like 1 or 2 of those in that arc that was like, oh yeah, that's a really good point, or that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think out of the 3 for me, this is probably like 3rd out of those 3 episodes.
Yeah, I agree, and I do like that we got to spend a little more time with the kind of I say a little more time, really any time with the Mace and Dooku relationship, because we really only see them interact once in Attack of the Clones, and it's not a very long chat. But I think it's interesting also to see just in general a younger Mace Windu. I mean, about 10, 15 years younger than we've ever seen him here, prior to being on the council, which of course then this episode culminates in. The episode is called Choices, and direct result of these 2 characters' choices, Dooku made a choice, Mace made a choice, Mace got promoted to the Jedi Council, Dooku did not. And you have that another fantastic line, and Corey Burton again as Dooku in this. Corey Burton, and then also Ashley Eckstein. Fantastic seeing her back as Ahsoka. I'm sure it won't be the last time we hear her back as Ahsoka again. But Corey Burton as Count Dooku I thought was fantastic. But again, a great line from him when Mace is being kind of Mace Windu about it, but he is a genuinely good person. That he says to Dooku, I will, like, genuinely, I will put a good word in with the council about you. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're a good Jedi. It's like what Kiadi-Mundi says in episode 2. Count Dooku, he's a political idealist, but he's still, he might not be a Jedi anymore voluntarily, but he's still one of us. And then, that great line from Dooku where he says, I appreciate it, Master Jedi. Like, he's already starting to say Master Jedi as if he's starting to separate more and more from the council. And then by the time we're in episode, by the time we're in Dooku's 3rd episode, he's no longer even with the Jedi. So, I just really loved the way that they did Dooku's arc in this. But yeah, anything else? Anything we might have missed? That you how'd you feel about Obi-Wan and Anakin in this?
I thought that was a nice quick scene that we got. We got a little banter back and forth, but that was about it. One thing I will say real quick about the 3rd Dooku episode. What movie is Yaddle? What movie does she show up in?
Phantom Menace.
Is it okay? I could have sworn it was one of the later ones, and I was like, is she really gonna die? Because I was like, isn't she in like 2 or 3 for like obviously like a split second, like you see her like in the corner. But okay, if she's in episode 1, then this tracks.
Yeah, that they lined up pretty well because she's in the Jedi Council scene when Qui-Gon tells them about Maul and everything, but then she's not in the rest of the movie. and now we know because right after that she got into a fight with the council and stepped away she removed herself from the Jedi Council and then dies. So
that
that
is
makes
something
sense.
I really did like about this episode was the idea of blaming the council for Qui-Gon's death because they didn't take him seriously.
Yeah.
Which is just so Jedi Council. It's so like, just keep it quiet because, if we don't look at it, it's not there. You know what I mean? When clearly this evil and the Sith are growing like right under you. And it's again, something people always say. It's like, how do they not know? Like it's like staring you in the face. Like, and this is going to be a dumb question, but did we know Dooku deleted that from the system? Did we know that already?
We knew that it was somebody. I mean, we've never seen it before, but yeah, we knew that it was somebody using Sifo Dyas's code.
Right.
Because at the time of the third episode, Dooku's no longer with the Order, so he,
Right. I really like seeing that because I couldn't, it didn't bring up any memories. I was like, oh yeah, I remember, them talking about somebody doing that, but that was really cool to see.
Yeah, 100%. I think if anything, maybe it was like I don't know. I can't even remember. It's some Star Wars thing somewhere. I think it was like, well, Dooku would have been the only person with access at that time type of thing. But yeah, I thought that was great. Again, I think that this show used those cold opens really well to the point where like the cold opens were sometimes like 3 or 4 minutes into the episode. And I would be like, oh my God, we're still like, it would cut to black for the cold open and then it would have the logo. Right. But in that cut to black before the logo came up, I literally was like, is it over? Was that it? But because like specifically in episode 6, I want to say, and in this one, so much happens in just the opening that I was like, that could have been its own episode as it is. Like just Yoda and just Yaddle and Dooku talking to Qui-Gon and then walking away from each other and her looking at him and realizing something's off and just being like, are you okay, Dooku? And him just being like, I'm fine. I thought that was fantastic on its own. And then you get the whole rest of the episode as like a cherry on top. And it was just so well paced. I swear I'm going to watch these, at least the 3 Dooku ones, probably repeatedly. Like I'm definitely not going to be done watching these anytime soon. Last thing I want to touch on, and then because the chat has demanded it, we do have to do a reaction to the Christmas Story 2 trailer. But before we do that, to close out, how'd you feel about Sheevy Palps showing up in this? Ian McDiarmid.
Good to see him back.
Back again.
Great to see him back. Same voice.
Have I been betrayed? I love that.
Yeah, thought that was awesome. Good to see.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. But guys, let us know, what did you think of episodes 1 through 6 of Tales of the Jedi? Did you like the Dooku stuff more, the Ahsoka stuff more, or did you just love it all and how it was kind of thematically intertwined throughout the show? Let us know that and more in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video on Tales of the Jedi. All right, so let us go ahead and close out today reacting to the Christmas Story. What is this movie called? A Christmas Story Christmas. Okay, well, there you go.
Christmas Story
Christmas. Let's go with the HBO Max one. No way, did this trailer just come out today? I feel like I saw the reports that the trailer came out like 5 days ago. Oh my God, I'm like losing all track of time.
There was like a teaser trailer a few
Maybe
days
that's
ago,
what it was. Oof.
Yeah.
Also, the season 4 teaser for Succession came. Oh, also quickly, way sooner than I thought, Last of Us premieres January 15th. Did you see that?
I think it got moved up.
Yeah, because I definitely thought it was like March or May.
I think it was. Yeah. I think they moved it up.
Interesting. I'm very interested with that. Maybe because they knew House of the Dragon was such a hit, they need those numbers. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some deeper info on that. Let's see here. All right. Let me make sure this is actually there. Good. Yes. Make sure I don't burst people's eardrums. All right, should be all good. So, guys, today we are going to be doing a trailer reaction to the brand new trailer for A Christmas Story Christmas. All right. Let's dive right into this.
Oh, life moves fast.
You hear it?
You're playing kick the can with kids named
Yeah, I'm good.
And the next thing you know, you're a certified adult.
Is that William from Spider-Man Far From Home?
He was the best.
Rugby, promise me we're gonna make this.
Oh, she's so old.
Christmas. That would make your father so happy.
I promise.
Aw.
What had I done? And now it was all up to me?
Damn, his eyes are just like
And don't stop till New Year's.
blue as
So
the
blue?
ocean.
Yeah.
Kids, who wants to go see Santa?
I gotta be honest, I'm like immediately already nostalgic right now.
Meet you right here when you're done.
Don't let him kick you in the face.
Huh?
Now in.
When it's just us decorating, it kind of feels like child labor.
Honey, it's not
Oh.
over if we don't pay you. Cheers.
Wow, this looks great.
All looks so easy.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
That doesn't mean it was easy.
Oh, I got it now.
God. Oof.
Oh,
That's brutal.
The Purge. Oh,
Slowly I could feel the Christmas ember beginning to glow again.
Christmas Story Christmas.
November 17th. Wow. I
First
really
of all,
liked
well,
that.
Something I'll say is I'm not surprised it's an HBO Max original. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like it's something that will be put out in theaters.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was good. I'm not. I've only seen this movie once, and I saw it last Christmas because Danielle really loves this movie, Christmas
Mhm.
Story. So obviously we're gonna watch it. Interesting. It comes out in November. I think I'd rather have it come out a little bit closer to Christmas personally. But I'm sure people will watch it during that time. Because I think I don't know, maybe that's just me. Like the Santa Clauses series that's coming out on Disney Plus,
Mhm.
which I think we're both kind of maybe excited for. I don't know. I kind of
Yeah.
am, but
I'm excited.
I
Trailer didn't excite me.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even watch the trailer, but I do. I wish that was coming out closer to Christmas. I don't want to come out in
Mhm.
November. Like
Yeah.
it's not Christmas to me.
It seems to be that this is the streaming model of, because like we saw it with Hocus Pocus, came out September
Right.
30th. It's like
Yeah.
you release it in advance so people can watch it. I think that's really what it is they want
Mhm.
people to watch it when it comes out and then again on the holiday. They want to get
Yeah.
the double dip for it.
Yeah.
Which I
Well, I'll
get,
tell you what,
but-
I didn't double dip on Hocus Pocus.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I haven't even dipped in
Yeah.
yet. I haven't even
Yeah.
dipped a toe in the shallow end. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I will say, I can almost guarantee I am gonna watch this.
Yes.
I really didn't feel like I was going to. That
Mm-hmm.
trailer really got me with the nostalgia. Something about Peter Billingsley just with those eyes. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not Tony Stark. Great character in the MCU. Gotta have him back soon. But I'm excited that he is doing more stuff in front of the camera as well.
Mhm.
He's worked pretty consistently in Hollywood as a writer and director and everything. So it just looks like it's fun. But let me know, what do you guys think? Are you going to check out the trailer for A Christmas Story Christmas? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for joining us for that trailer reaction. All right. Well, you said it. You did it to yourself. I haven't watched the new one yet either. We're going to do the Santa Claus's
All right.
trailer right now. All right. Because I did hear, we knew Bernard was showing up.
Mhm.
But I did hear that a certain older Charles might be showing up.
Charles. Which one is he?
Charlie.
Again? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep.
All right. All right, let's do a little bit of live improv here. TJ, do you want to do the reacting to the Santa Clauses?
Sure.
Go for it. Hang on. Oh, actually, hang on.
All
Now
right.
go for it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the PFN Network. Today, we're going to be reacting to Santa Claus's official trailer from Disney Plus coming out in November. Sean, play the trailer.
All right.
Grace, Dad. Okay, got it.
Who is this? Oh, Cal Penn.
This is random family.
Oh,
Oh, what the hell?
is Cal Penn gonna be the new Santa?
Oh, was that him? I didn't even realize that was him. Oh, jeez.
Oh,
What? What do you mean?
dude, your wall just opened up.
Turned into adults. They stopped believing.
Oh,
It was magic.
oh shit,
Uh-oh.
Scott,
Good of Christmas. I'm retiring.
Wow, I didn't even know you could do that.
I think
Charlie.
this
Hey.
world's like as normal people.
That guy have an Oculus on? That elf?
I think so.
Need a crossing guard?
Is that Buddy? Is that grown-up Buddy?
Sandra,
Is that
why-
Buffalo?
This is what I look like here. It's dad, me. You know, I'll have a Funicino. Put cocoa in
Tim
it.
Allen looks pretty good.
A little peppermint,
Yeah.
chop
You
up
know?
some cookies and sprinkles.
Name for the order?
Santa.
Sir, my job is hard enough.
Ho, ho, ho. For the first time, I'm going to spend Christmas with my family.
That's crazy.
New Santa is destroying Christmas spirit.
Who is the new
New
Santa?
Santa.
It could
Who
be
is the
end
new
of
s-
Christmas.
Retired too soon. I hired the wrong guy.
They brought the action figure back.
To the North Pole.
Don't tell me. Is it?
Disappearing.
Are disappearing? You should have led with that.
This trailer is so much better than the last one, by the way. Oh, I don't know about the song. Get Rain back in.
This song
Oh,
does
that was
suck.
Bernard. Oh, oh, whoa!
Christmas isn't
Wait, Bernard!
There he is.
Wow! Oh my god! I
The
can't
toy
believe
soldier. Toy
if they
soldier's
literally
back.
have the toy Santa Claus. I can't even believe that we were just joking about that, and then he was there. If they have that toy Tim Allen back, that
Oh, yeah.
that would literally be the best decision they could have made
It can't
for
be.
this movie.
It's got to be like. It's got to be the same as the second movie too. They can't update it. It's got to
Yeah,
be the
no.
same.
If they do that, it's got to be the same. Not. It's just the same puppet. Not even
Yeah.
a new version. Just the one from 20 years ago. Pull it
Yeah.
out of storage and use it, as if that thing wasn't melted down the instant they stopped filming.
Right, exactly.
I will say off the bat, did they not imply in both trailers that that a woman is the new Santa? I don't know. Did that? I didn't get that. Did you get that?
I didn't get that, but what I will say is I do.
Oh, there we go.
As well as can you hear me? You good?
Yeah.
Okay, Judge Reinhold, Wendy Gruson, is she in this? I don't think she's in this either. No, not in this. I always forget his name. The other elf that everybody loves.
Oh, yeah.
I always forget his name, and Danielle's probably gonna be like, "No, it's
What
hell's his
brunette
name?
woman?
I don't know who the brunette woman is."
I don't know. I'm trying to look.
But this is missing some key characters that I do wish would have come back, but unfortunately didn't.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, I was pretty. I'm looking forward to this from that trailer. What about you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find this woman real quick.
Spencer Breslin. Duh. Okay.
Oh, right. Oh, this lady? Oh, is that who's gonna be the new Santa? Interesting. I found it. All right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I definitely. Spencer Breslin's character. Oh my God, this is gonna kill me. Not Bernard. That's gonna kill me. I can't.
Want
pull
me
it
to
right
tell
now.
you?
Yeah.
Chris.
Fuck. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Anyways, I think absolutely this trailer was definitely better than the last trailer. I really enjoyed it. Like this, I'm really happy I watched this because I was really looking forward to this series. We reviewed the third Santa Claus movie for Christmas last year. I think maybe we're gonna have to do either a deep dive on this show or review. Maybe we'll do Santa Claus 2 this year. We'll review them in reverse order every Christmas. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll review Santa Claus 2 this year. Sounds good. But in terms of the trailer, I really loved it. Hopefully I can salvage this trailer reaction in the edit because I really just lost my train of thought looking for that brunette woman. But I do think that makes sense now. I think maybe it is. Maybe it is a bad choice to be Santa, or maybe there's something a little more devious going on.
Maybe Jack Frost had his own tricks again.
I was literally just gonna say, what are the chances we get Martin Short?
Snow globe. She goes, gotcha.
She goes. You almost wish like you'd never been Santa at all. Okay, real quick, last question. Over under. What are the chances we get Martin Short in this?
0. Under 0.
Under 0, really?
No, he's not in it now. I'll tell you, you will get Peyton Manning playing Peyton Manning. Apparently,
I did see that. Yeah, I did see. Oh, yeah, I think that was in the first trailer.
Means,
yeah.
But,
Yep, I think it's. I'll put it at a 10% chance. I think there's a chance he could just pop in, because he did not like disappear. He's still Jack Frost. He's just melted.
Right. Yes. Oh,
so he's still out there.
I had in my head he was trapped in the snow globe. Right. He is.
Yeah, he's out and about.
We need what's that one? What's
exactly,
the girl's name?
Absolutely, Uncle Scott.
Yeah, what's her name?
Oh God, I haven't seen these movies in so long. Oh, what is her name?
All right,
Wendy. I don't know. All right, guys, let us know what you think about the Santa Clauses trailer. And we will catch you in the next video, in the next PFN Live. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This really went off the rails at the end. I have been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. Go ahead and follow us at the official PFN on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
I've been your other host, TJ Cornwell. Thank you for watching. Let us know what you thought about any of the topics in the comments below. What you thought about Tales of the Jedi, any of the news topics. YAHYA Abdul-Mateen being cast as Wonder Man. And we will see you next time.